listening. Bienvenue. Hello. Hey, how you doing? I can share the broadcast to Fatty Boogie. Where is it? Can name on YouTube, and that'll usually bring it up. Something in the world of YouTube has changed again. That's usually an indicator. Come on, where? I have to do a search, a more specific search. Just a second. The pyramid. Okay. Come on. Oh, there's one, part one. There's part two. And part three is nowhere. Come on, hurry up. No, I can't find it. You know, you'd have thought that the YouTube app on my phone would show me my videos that I'm doing, my live stream that I'm doing, quite readily, but it doesn't. Oh, Hector. Right, okay, well, I'm not going to hang around too long. So, it's been a little bit, a couple of weeks maybe, since I did the last update. So let's get into it. I built this approach road because my PlayStation or my internet or whatever it is doesn't render in very quickly. I think we'll make it nighttime. Yeah, let's do that. Boof. Sometimes the doing these sort of approaches doesn't really have quite the desired effect, because it doesn't do what you'd want it to do in terms of an artistically satisfying way. But doesn't matter. So obviously I've been working. You see what I mean. It's only just now rendering in the. So we reached a bit of a milestone today. Come on. Which is that I have now completed all the exterior block work for the pyramid. So this is a little. There we are. I'm not sure where we were at last time we were here, but so as you can see, the perimeter is sort of fairly cleaned up, and there's still some land masses on some sides that still need taking care of on them. Mostly it's kind of like that. Come on, render in, for crying out loud. That is in fact something that's not rendering rather than a hole in my pyramid. There you go. Come on. cow, that's it. Oh, let's show you this quickly. So Otto decided to make one of his little puppies that he did. He did something similar to this in my just outside my last pyramid, the one that got deleted, and he made this one underwater, and I decided it was so nice that I wanted to be able to see it, and so I kind of cut a thing around it so that I could expose it. And I love his little puppies. I love the way his mind works. You know, I said it looked like a bit like a creeper from Minecraft because it was these little sort of double feet type things, but lovely boy, love him. Right, so let's carry on this way. Right, so we're coming to a little bit something that's definitely new. This Tali said to me the other day, "What's 115?" I said, "It's not 115, it's 511." And she said, "Well, what's 511?" I said, "Well, that's how many blocks this pyramid is on the side. It's 511 blocks square." So yes, okay, so this is an area where I'm still working. Now, as you can see, I've kind of brought this area back from the pyramid. It was all sea, like it is over here still. I just wanted to be able to see the thing in a sort of approach kind of way, a bit better than because it's stuck behind this sort of 62 block high level all the time. Yeah, this sea level. You don't get the full high image of the pyramid ever. You know, and what I wanted to do was to be able to have that. So this is why I've kind of taken all this away. It was sea lantern floor as well, like it is. If you look at this section here, the section I'm removing is all sea lantern floor. But it just didn't work. Once I took the water away and everything, it obviously was a kind of a bit confusing with the pyramid being made out of that as well. So I'm in the process of figuring out what I want to do with this. Now, as you can see over here is, you know, we still have some land mass and some stuff that I haven't kind of figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. But this is generally the area. There's a few these spots here. these are areas where there was a landmass breaking, you know, quite a significant landmass breaking the surface of the water, and I've kind of reduced it. And I thought, well, I might as well reduce it all the way down to nothing. And so I've sort of done that in these areas, and then sea lanterned the floor. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do around here yet, and this obviously still needs removing. These are a few other areas where I've done the same thing, started the work of removing the land. It's kind of not really doing anything. I don't really want it. Anyway, so there's still a lot of work to do, but it is a kind of a bit of a milestone today in that the exterior block work is finally finished. I literally finished it today. And I've also, strangely enough, Hector was telling me, well, he was showing me a video actually of one of his YouTube channels that he follows, a Minecraft channel, and a guy had built this nether portal in the nether, and it was on top of the nether, which was kind of weird. And Hector said, yeah, you can build up there. And I was like, can you? Look at this. What's going on here? Come on, render in, you. Come on. So he was saying, yeah, you know, you can build up there, and why don't you build a pyramid? And I was like, yeah, because that's what I need to do, is build a whole nother pyramid. But it was an intriguing prospect because, of course, the Nether is kind of like the reverse of this world. I don't even know what you call it. Overworld? I don't know. I don't know what the official sort of term is. I can't actually remember how far this path goes. Just having a look. So what that means is that when you go into the Nether, oh yeah, here we go. Okay. When you go into the Nether, if you dig upwards, you'll eventually get to the sort of flat surface, which is the sort of opposite of digging down in this world, you know. So you dig down here, you get to the void underneath, and there's a flat surface above you. And he said, oh, you know, you could build a pyramid up there, which would be really cool because it's a completely featureless flat surface. You know, it's like, how cool would that be? So I thought I'd have a look. I can't quite get my head around how shitty this is. Excuse my language. This is God. Right, while this is doing its thing, I'm going to just find the video on my phone again. See if I can get it shared. Come on. Boof. Okay. My phone seems to have lost the internet. You can't love that. Come on. Oh, here we go. Right. There it is. Okay. Chat publicly as Ben Pegley. No, I'm just talking. Alright, let's share this bad boy. Just copy link. Alright, here we go. Do. Seems to have caught up a little bit. Come on. Alright. Good picture. Good thumbnail to share. Right. Milestone. Post. Now, why is that taking so long? Okay. Right. Let's carry on. Alright, so let's head into Das Pyramid and show you what I've been doing. Now, there's no doors. I'm going to do the kind of cool doors on these things, you know, the sort of ones that lift up and whatever. So, but I haven't done them yet. So there's been some work in here, not a massive amount. I mean, some. It's still kind of loose. But here we have our little place with the nether portal. And then down below we have this sort of floor idea. Now that all the block work's done, you can see how that even though the whole thing's made of sea lanterns, you've still got all this dark shadow, all these sections. I don't super dislike it, but I don't know. I'm going to do something with it, I think. It's actually quartz. So as you can see, when you get close to a a lantern, you can see that it's actually a a white quartz, but it just goes into extreme shadow once you get too far away from those lanterns. There's a lot of holes into the void here, look, so you can go beneath the level of the... And that's actually something I'll show you in a second there. Not a little game. Yeah, to do with it. Hector's made this world he's called extreme skydiving, and he built this sort of tower where you have to jump off and then fall, and you have to kind of navigate your way through various sort of obstacles to get to the bottom, where there's a bunch of slime where you can bounce and you'll live. And it gave me an idea to do something here, so I'll show you that in a second. But first of all, I'll just carry on with what I was talking about with the nether. Okay, so Hector said you could build in the nether, so I said, okay, well let's have a look. So we're just gonna go into the nether. All right, so I built a little platform for my portal, and I thought, okay, well let's have a look. Let's go up and see what we can see. So we have our little column here, and up, and here we are on the surface, which is sort of the opposite of Upworld. Is it Upworld? I can't remember. And Hector said you could build on here. Now the trouble is you can't, because as soon as you say, can I build something, try and build a block, it says height limit for building is 128 blocks, and that's that. So you can't actually do it. So the video that Hector was watching on YouTube earlier of a guy who had a nether portal up here. Yeah, so he had a portal just like my one down there, but it was up here. I don't know how he did that. I don't know what's going on, but it can't be done, or at least I can't do it. So that idea was basically blown out. So I just built all that for nothing. Well, it didn't take long, but yeah. So anyway, but let's go back. Okay, so Hector was talking to me about this skydiving thing, so I was like, okay, well, this pyramid's pretty big, so I wonder if I can do something like that with it, you know. So I had a little look at what I'd already built, and then I kind of just rejigged it a little bit, and have I still got a bed here? Yeah, there's my bed, the little bedroom. Not very homely, is it? So, I can't remember how to get out of this bloody thing. There is a way. There you go. Okay, so here we are at the top of the world, and I think that's it. And so I said to Hector, okay, why don't you go all the way up here and then drop and see what it's like. And so we did this. And we've basically fallen right through and out the bottom of the world from all the way up there. And he was like, oh, that's cool, can I have a go? And I said, yeah, of course you can. And so he was having a bit of fun with that. And obviously it's, I cleared a path so you can go all the way. So you were -40 there at the bottom of the void, and then right up to, I think we were up in the air at 350 or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a little added extra bit of fun. What I might do is, with that in mind, I might build a few other things on the way down, because there's a huge amount of space available still. Obviously, there's not that much going on inside the pyramid. But I am very pleased with it. It's obviously been a lot of work, but not as much work as yet as the old one, which is good, to get the actual sort of structure done. I am glad Tali convinced me to build it in, or started it in disorientating much in sea lanterns. I think it was the right way to go. But so we're going to put lots of stuff in here. As you can see, there's a huge space here. So especially with the skydiving in mind, you can build some fun stuff to go through, because you don't get as much of a sense of distance when there's obviously not as much passing by the eye. That's the thing. So yeah, that's going to be the next thing, I think. Have some fun with that. And yeah, so that's it really. I mean, it's that's kind of what I've been up to. I've got all this work outside to do, all this kind of getting finishing the sea stuff. So this space here, I do want that to be all the way across in a way. Although I was wondering whether to keep this central section of water in place, but then it would spoil the view of the pyramid as well. So I might remove it. At the moment, it's kind of I kind of like it, but it just kind of spoils this idea of having this, a complete vista available of the pyramid. Although it's so vast that I can't actually. It's actually quite difficult. You have to be quite close to it for it to actually render all of it. I'm not sure you can even get all of it on the screen at the same time, if you see what I mean. I don't think it will render the top while you've got the bottom in view, if you see what I mean. Anyway, that's because it's so huge. Anyway, so I'm going to get on with a bit of this. And I guess this is normally the time where I start talking about other things while I'm just buggering about and doing whatever I'm doing. So why break the habit of a lifetime? And yeah, so I am trying to sort my life out right now, as so many of us are. What with the situation on the ground with coronavirus and all the rest of it. It's proving quite difficult. But it looks like a face there. Look, that's weird. Face and an arm. I can see. Weird. Yeah, it's a tricky time. It's not a very good time to have health issues. I'll tell you that much. And I shouldn't really complain, as there are so many people out there who are in a lot worse situation than I am. But I am kind of finding it taxing, to say the least, being not 100% in terms of my health, and while all this is going on. You know, so as I've spoken about before, I've got hypertension, high blood pressure, stage 2 hypertension, pretty much, and this is something that's been, I guess, that's been sort of brought about by my being overweight as well. I'm quite overweight at the moment, and so I'm kind of trying to deal with all that while attempting to sort of navigate these sort of crazy times with the world and finances and work and things like that. And so it's not an easy thing to do. I think a lot of us musicians in particular who have had our, you know, what we do really nixed. You know, I mean, I've said it before, but I've had 70 plus gigs just go this year, more than that now, and that's on top of things at work sort of changing, and so it's all kind of gone very pear-shaped, and it's an extremely tricky time to be a musician. And was it 367 or 368? I can't remember. 366, neither. There you go. Okay, 366. Alright, well, let's just throw a wall in there. Yeah, so I'm trying to manage my blood pressure. I'm a couple of weeks into some medication for that, and I'm finding it kind of not really helping that much. It doesn't seem to be doing very much, which is I know it's a little bit early to be kind of deciding that the drugs aren't working, but that is what seems to be the case in terms of I don't know, it's just a bit of a it's just a bit of a tricky one. It could be that the medication has yet to really kick in properly or something, but or I don't know what, but I might as well use quartz. It's not going to be up there though, it's going to be down here and will be 1. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's 18,360. Yep, it won't let me do another. It's too big to do 2 layers at once. So this is what we're going to be doing for the next few minutes. Yeah, so obviously my blood pressure is kind of related to the weight, and so I'm trying to lose some weight, and it's all a bit of a pain, and I don't know. One of the things that's kind of come to mind recently is how, as you get older. I'm 49. So I'm 50 in 5 months. And one of the things that sort of occurs to me as I get older, and as things sort of, you sort of start getting, I don't know, it's like, I guess, it's like when you own a car and something goes wrong with the car that's really minor, and you don't get it checked out. Right? You know where I'm going with this analogy. And you don't get it checked out. And you think, well, it's not super important, so I haven't got any money, so I'm not gonna, I won't worry about it. It might be like a scratch or something, or you've broken wing mirror or something, And then a little bit later, something else goes wrong, and da da da. And what happens, is that eventually you got so, and I feel a bit like that at the moment, in that, there's all this sort of, like, years and years ago, literally, I don't know, 12 years ago, 13, 14, I don't know, yeah, 12 years ago, I guess it was. I used to go to the gym quite a lot. And me and the chap I was going to the gym with were quite foolish, and we used to chuck medicine balls at each other, right? And so basically, we would, it was. This is probably some kind of form of stuff, something you'd see in some Van Damme movie or something. You'd lie on the floor and let the guy drop a medicine ball from sort of 5 feet or 6 feet, and onto your stomach, and you'd flex your abs and take the impact. And we used to do that a lot, and I had always traditionally, throughout my life when I was younger, I had very strong ab muscles, right? I was seldom lean enough to have really a really good six pack or anything, but I had very strong core, very strong muscles, and so much so that it used to be one of the things that I would let people punch me in the stomach, and it would, that was like a party trick, to let someone just punch you as hard as they can in the stomach. And like, if I can ever do that now. But I used to open beer bottles with my teeth as well, but that's another story. So yeah, I can remember. I can remember at school, middle school, in sort of early '80s, discovering this talent for being able to take punishment in my stomach while being bullied by someone who I won't name, who was an infamous character at Cornell Middle School around about that time. But yeah, and I can remember being basically punched in the stomach however many times this person, this fellow student, saw fit to do it. And then I had to answer some questions, I remember, and this was at the height of the sort of mod revival, and the Jam were still the big force in UK music and stuff, and I can remember one of the questions was that I had to name the members of the Jam, right? So I had to go Paul Weller and Bruce Foxton, right, and so, and then I had, and in between each one taking a punch, God, this is in the playground. I don't know why they, where's the teachers, right? I don't know. Anyway, but this was kind of right around the time where I realized that I could take a bit of punishment in that area, and for years afterwards, like I said, it was a bit of a party trick. Not party trick, but I would just kind of show off or whatever, and so this whole medicine ball stuff, this whole gym ball kind of thing that we were doing, it was child's play. It was like no problem. I would flex my core, flex my abs and take the thing, and easy. And then one day in the gym, we were doing all that, and all of a sudden I couldn't get up off the floor. I was literally I had this cramping pain in my stomach, which was just crippling cramping. I couldn't move. I couldn't get up off the floor. It was absolutely the worst cramp I've ever had, and at that time, up until that time, and I had to lie on the floor for 5 or 10 minutes, or however long it took to sort of subside. The staff at the gym were like, trying to help me or whatever. I can't remember if they actually did anything, but I was literally immobile. I couldn't move, and it was just every time I tried, it was just my abs, especially it was kind of my serratus and sort of side of your abs rather than right in the front. It would just lock up and excruciatingly painful. And I obviously stopped doing all that macho bollocks immediately after that. But I didn't really think anything of it. But what happened in the years after that was that I would continue to get these terrible cramps in my stomach for under certain conditions, certain types of exercise, certain types of activities. And it would, I would just lock up, and it was just excruciating pain again. And then sort of, more years after that, and when I first did the Cambridge diet and lost a load of weight, I went from about 18 stone at that point down to 14. But one of the things that I didn't really do very well while I did that, while I was losing all that weight, was drink enough water. I really wasn't hydrating properly, and that would manifest in absolutely terrible constipation. Sorry to be indelicate, but also in really, these excruciating cramps kicking in again, and but at least by that time I had kind of realized that drinking water would kind of help. It would go more quickly if I drank some water and just sort of stayed still and kind of it would be all right, and it would go. But it used to happen while I was gigging, on various. If I hadn't drunk enough water, I could find myself cramping during a gig, and playing, and so I had to not, get that sorted. So I kind of always drink a lot of water now, but but I think I always wondered whether I'd sort of, caused myself some kind of weird hernia or something that's literally never been diagnosed, or whether it's anything not related to all that gym ball nonsense, or something else, But it's one of those things that during lockdown, weirdly, because the whole takeaway situation and junk food and stuff was massively reduced, because everything was closed, I was obviously eating a lot more home cooked food, and we had a lot of broccoli, right? Broccoli was, it's good for you, and I eat broccoli, so it's kind of good, and I was happy to have broccoli on my plate, and all that. So, but what I didn't know was that broccoli is a real gas producing food, and I found that out because I started getting these just crazy ab lockups again, you know. And it was kind of different from before. I was in absolute agony. And I mean, I remember one evening, it was all evening, all night. I just couldn't get comfortable. I kept had to go to the loo, come out of the loo, just nothing happening. Just utter agony in that whole ab area for hours and hours and hours. Just awful. And I literally cut broccoli out of my diet, right? Which I didn't want to do because it's good for me, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to cut it out of my diet, but I had to. And 367 736 367. And the cramps went away, right? It stopped, which I thought was a bit bloody weird, you know. But there we go. So I and this is just sort of one thing that I have to kind of be aware of, and in addition to the freaking whatever other bullshit that I'm dealing with in terms of my blood pressure and whatever else. I mean, I'm sure these things are all sort of interlinked. I mean, of course they are in one way or another, but I've got a really bad I've got quite bad varicose situation in my leg, in my right leg. It's fucking it's rubbish, right? But what's that all about, And so I've got sort of compression socks and all that sort of crap, and which I'd never wear because they're horrible and they sort of seem to hurt more than just not bothering. So it's all fun and games getting older, isn't it? And bloody feeling yourself all falling apart, which is what I kind of what I feel. I feel very like all these little injuries that happen to you over time all sort of start adding up. This is like my right bicep when I tore that changing a wheel on the car a few years ago. That's never really healed up. I mean, it has healed up, but I lost a lot of muscle in my right arm, and I don't trust that arm in the way that I used to, in terms of I used to kind of I was so confident in my strength that I never used to really worry about hurting myself. And this is the point. I think a lot of people, I was going to say a lot of men, but I mean maybe it is a more of a man thing than anything else. Maybe it is. It feels sort of like it is, but it's certainly something that I've been guilty of, in terms of just thinking you're flipping invincible, and for years and years you feel you are, and you kind of and the proof is in the pudding, and then all of a sudden something breaks, or tears or whatever. So so that's where I am right now. I'm kind of trying to figure all this out and get myself back on the straight and narrow, and back down to a healthy weight, and back down to a healthy blood pressure level, and all the rest of it, all while trying to figure out how to successfully prosecute my career, and from this point onwards, having had so many things change this year. So so that's where we are. That's where I am. That's what I'm doing. And so I find this kind of thing, the Minecraft stuff, I find it very therapeutic, to just kind of, well, I don't find this particular job therapeutic. This is a bit kind of boring, but it's just one of those things. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. It would be nice to feel like I'm making some ground, gaining some ground on either the weight or the blood pressure. I've been quite sort of depressed recently, and not depressed, but just kind of just bummed out because I'm kind of, my weight seems to be hovering around the same point, which is about, it's almost a stone under what it was when I first weighed myself and thought, bloody hell, when I had the I'm over 20 stone revelation, which I'd never been that heavy before, and I was 20 stone 5, and I'm currently about 19 stone 8. Oh, did I do that wrong? Yeah, I did. 45. And oh, hang on, am I in the wrong position? 43. What was I saying? I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so I was 20 stone 5 and 19 stone 8 today. But I've been hanging around this 19 stone 8, 19 stone 9 point for some weeks now, which is highly depressing when you're trying to kind of pull the calories in and ramp up the exercise. I mean, I've been doing a load of brisk walking. I know it's only walking, but I'm doing a lot of miles. I'm doing a fair few for a heavy guy. And I know through my Fitbit info that I'm getting my heart rate up, and doing a lot of good fat burn minutes. That there's a feature in the Fitbit app called Zone Minutes, and it sort of calculates how many minutes you're in sort of various types of zone, fat burn zone, cardio zone, whatever. So I'm doing more of that than I have done, I think, forever, and yet I'm still not making a huge amount of ground, it seems. So I'm kind of a bit frustrated about that. But anyway, this is one. Now, just changing the subject slightly. This is one of those things in Minecraft where it's I shouldn't have done it like this, in terms of every time I do one of these operations, I can only do it one layer at a time, because it's 18,244 blocks, right? Obviously the limit on each of these operations is 32,000 odd, right? So if I had selected a larger horizontal, larger area, I could be taking 32,000 blocks away each time rather than just 18, and I can't do 2 layers at a time because that's over the limit. So this is actually a kind of inefficient way of doing what I'm doing, which is one of the things that I've been trying to avoid, but I suppose because I was talking, I sort of randomly picked a spot and thought, oh, that'll do. I mean, it doesn't take that long, but like I said, I kind of I'm annoyed with myself that I could have had a whole chunk more going each time. I try and gauge it so that I'm taking as near to the maximum amount of blocks that I can in each time I do an operation. But it doesn't take that long really. I'll just get into it, and we're nearly there now. Boop. Yeah, it's a very strange thing to be suddenly faced with, health situations, and as someone who is kind of, not really worried about stuff like that too much throughout my life. I've been very lucky in that I've not really had much in the way of medical situations to deal with. In fact, the most the period of my life that had the most kind of activity in that sense, most trauma, was when I was 13. I mean, literally, 1984 was an absolutely dreadful year for me in terms of the not only my health, well, not so much my health, but just my things happening to me, but and also the knock-on effect of so much time off school because of those things, affecting my schoolwork, and yeah, it was it all had a knock-on effect, and in fact, because that was a key year as well, because that year was the year that they kind of are looking at you and sussing out which kind of groups you're going to go into in the upper school, the following year. And I had an abysmal year, whereas the year before I had a great year. And it also it also didn't help that I had a teacher that I didn't really gel with in that final year of middle school, which was a shame. I don't think he was a bad teacher or anything, but I think he and I certainly. I mean, I just didn't get on with him really, and who can say whether it's 6 and 1 1/2 dozen the other or whatever. All I can tell you is that the 4 teachers that I had at middle school, I got on well with 3 of them, and the first 3, and then not with the 4th one, and the 4th one was obviously in the most critical year, and it did have a knock-on effect in terms of moving on up to the upper school. But I had all these flipping medical situations going on that year. Even from the sublime to the ridiculous. I got bitten by a dog through my in my face, my top lip, and had stitches and well, I didn't have stitches in that. I think it was they put these medical strips on it, and it held it together that way. So that was there was that, and then there was I fell over in playing badminton at the middle school in the gym, the sports hall there, and somehow managed to land on my face, and I split my bottom lip clean in half, and I mean really badly, like fully torn down the middle. It was so bad that years later, when I had my labret piercing done in my lip, the guy who was doing it said, he said, "Have you ever had anything a piercing before?" And I said, "No." Here, and I said, "No." And then I told him what had happened. He said, and he says, "Oh, I knew it was something." He said, "Because there's there's something that was throwing me off in terms of how to center the piercing, and he actually got it wrong, and had to re-pierce it, which was very pleasant, I must admit. That doesn't look too bad actually with the water like that, but I'm not sure whether I'll keep it. And this was to do with the fact that my lip had torn in half, and there was a big scar down the middle of it, but it was kind of uneven, and jagged. It wasn't fully centered. That was pretty awful because the wound was sewn up and then went septic, and was horrendous. It was one of the most unpleasant experiences of my life. That bloody thing right under you, when you've got, something like that happening on your body, and it's right under your nose, right under your nose, and you can smell it all the time. Ugh. And it was very, very painful again. But this all happened to me in 1984. It's weird year. Ghostbusters came out that year. You know what I mean? And the Olympics were that year. The Los Angeles Olympics. But yeah, and I fell off my bike, and I remember I had a bike accident where I smashed my elbow up and had bloody hell. It was just a really, really shitty year for stuff, and I also had to go to the hospital and have an operation, so I was off school for God knows how long for that, and yeah, I didn't do very well that year. It looks like that's still the worst year, in terms of that. I've never had anything like that happen, before or since. Anyway, I'm gonna. I don't know where I was going with all that, but it feels like I'm kind of, in a way, I'm sort of almost paying the piper, for kind of being a bit of a typical bloke, in the ways that one really shouldn't ever be a typical bloke. I've never really considered myself to be a typical bloke in many ways, but that I suppose that is one of them. Just kind of almost, ridiculous need to not ever go to the doctors or not ever admit that anything's ever wrong, or and just sort of suffer, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. I hope you've liked this little tour of my little pyramid land here. I think I'm going to tackle the rest of this water and get this approach sorted out. I'm also going to start building the redstone doors. These kind of, I was going to say hydraulic, but the kind of moving doors and stuff and all that stuff. Plus, I'm going to do the skydiving thing for Hector. Make that more exciting. Although I still think it's pretty good already. Just wish there was wind noise. When you drop in Minecraft, it's sort of silent. It doesn't give you that sense of whoosh. That you get if you had a bit of a sound effect with it. Anyway, so guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time. I imagine that the next time I do an update on this lovely thing, it'll be the last one. So I might leave it a little while until I've really done the interior as much as I'm gonna do it. And leave it at that. Alright, so take it easy and look after yourselves, look after each other, blah 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 blah. Stay safe, take care of yourselves. Give up smoking if you smoke. You know, all that stuff. See, I gave that up fucking 15 years ago. It's not fair, is it? Anyway. Goodbye.